Hi, I'm Jeff Cogswell. Today here at Go Parallel, I'm going to talk about the different additions and components that make up Parallel Studio. Now, in the past, there were different parts that made the naming and organization of the products kind of confusing, and Intel has simplified that for us, so I thought I'd give you a rundown of how it all fits together. Now, Parallel Studio can be found at the Intel website, and one way to get there is to start with Google and just put in Parallel Studio, and that will take you to the main landing page for Parallel Studio. Now I've got my word processor here I'm going to pull up to show you the different parts. Okay, for starters, we've got the compilers, which is the fundamental part of Parallel Studio, and there is a C and C++ compiler and a Fortran compiler. There are several libraries, including the Math Kernel Library, or MKL, the threading building blocks, which we've covered a lot here at Go Parallel, also known as TBB, the Intel Integrated Performance Primitives, or IPP, and the Intel MPI library, which stands for Message Passing Interface, which is a standard. And then finally, RogueWave IMSL Fortran Numerical Library. This, of course, is made by RogueWave, who many of us have heard of. They've been around forever, making libraries that many of us have used over the years. Then we've got the bigger parts of Parallel Studio that we're familiar with. We've got Intel Advisor XE, which analyzes and tunes your threading design. And then we've got Intel Inspector XE, which is the memory and threading debugger for C, C++, Fortran, and let's not forget C#. Then there's the vTune amplifier, which is our performance profiler. Finally, there's an Intel Trace Analyzer and Collector for tracing and analyzing, which works together with your MPI programs. Now from here, you can pick the addition you want based on the components you want. Now you'll notice not in this list is the word composer, which many of you may be familiar with. That's because the name has been moved, and we'll look at that next. Now back over at the Parallel Studio website, if you scroll down, they mention three different editions. One is Composer Edition, and there's the word composer again, and then the Professional Edition and the Cluster Edition. This basically, the Composer Edition is the minimal number of features to get going. Professional adds more features on top of it, and Cluster adds even more features. Composer Edition consists of the compilers, both C, C++, and Fortran, as well as the Math Kernel Library, and TBB, and then the IPP, Media and Data Library. Beyond that, you don't have the three big tools, Advisor XE, Inspector XE, and vTune Amplifier XE. To get those three tools, you move up to the Professional Edition. So if you just need the compiler but don't need the additional tools, then you can go with the Composer Edition. But if you do want those three big tools, then you have the Professional Edition. Finally, the Cluster Edition adds on to that the Intel MPI library, the ITAC MPI Analyzer and Profiler, and then the IMSL numeric library that I mentioned earlier. Now, this library can actually be purchased separately to be used with any of these other editions if you want to. And that's it. That should help you keep the naming of these products all straight so you know which one you want to go with.